So let's unmute the stream. So good evening guys, today we are looking at the Friday Line Battle event. Now this is the KKA Friday Line Battle and the 77Y are in attendance, but usually on Fridays I have other things to do, so I am not normally in this event, and as such other people lead it. So to continue to let them lead, I will be spectating this alongside Chadman, who will hopefully help me with the commentary. And we are running at least a 1 minute delay on the stream. I've put the stream delay to maximum, so there is no way that I or anyone else can help either of the teams in the event. But it will mean you guys are seeing everything a minute or two delayed, so any comments you make we may take some time to respond to. So please bear that in mind when making comments. So welcome Chadman to the stream.
Hello Malakith, how are you?
Oh, not bad. Have they started yet? I know they're looking like they're about to.
They're kind of mulling around. You kind of know when everything's going to actually happen,
so
when they kind of start team killing, but there's no mention of it having gone live. There's been a few people that have disconnected. It's difficult to say, really. I mean, we're at the 58-minute counter, so whether or not it's actually... No, I don't think it is. They're still moving people around, so... As is the norm with this kind of game, there is still a large amount of faffing still to be done.
Yep, normally brought on by people not bringing as many members as they said they will, which then completely unbalances the teams, which is always a lovely job to have to deal with when you're adminning these things.
You sound bitter by experience.
Oh yes, you kindly balance up the teams, so it's 100 versus 100, you get in game, it's 97 versus 60. You're just like, who can miscount 40 people?
Well, you know, after 10... you kind of run out of fingers. 20, it's understandable because then you got toes, but after 20, it's a little bit of a grey area. So
it's like someone sitting there constantly sneaking up and resetting the abacus of the poor guy that's trying to count them all.
Yeah, that's distinctly possible. You can never tell for certain, but you know, unfortunately, mental arithmetic is not a lot of people's strong points, I have to say. But to be honest, you know what is.
Okay, so it looks like we've got one of every unit today. I'm seeing cavalry, skirmishers, line and artillery. I believe this is a fire in formation event, so you shouldn't see any random charging apart from the skirmishers.
Yeah, looking cannon-wise, they don't appear to have any howitzers. Looks like standard 6-pounders in there at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys vary it up. Looking at the English forces at the moment, obviously standard line troops in there, a few dragoons. And there's obviously, as typical for the English standard, there's a punch-up at the back here. So I think they're just sorting out the final members of their teams and will be good to go. So a reasonably nice map, I have to say. A few hills to pop the artillery on the top of, and also to hide your forces behind. A nice sort of open plain right in the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say this is definitely an artillery map. If you do not want to brave the massive plain in the middle, you have to take an extremely circuitous route.
Yeah, this does kind of remind me very much of the sort of the valley which the charge of the Light Brigade went down. You know, it's into the valley of death, so to speak. As it is, it's going to be. You know what it's going to be like? This is going to be a line battle equivalent of cadet bowling with cannonballs. Yes.
Do they have to advance in a sort of triangular wedge formation?
That's exactly what they need to do.
And the gunner is executed if he ends up with a 7-10 split. Absolutely,
yes. Or well, you can split cadets in half. I think, I'm not sure, but it has to be a very accurate shot.
Ah, yes, that kind of split is fully acceptable, but
of course
you can't have those corners left.
No, of course not. No, I mean it's just you know, it's just untidy and it's unprofessional, and you know, it's just not the done thing.
Yeah, you're clearly not pro enough to be in the pro cadet bowling league if you're leaving that kind of formation left.
Indeed, it's all a load of balls anyway. So
I don't know. It sounds like an extremely good thing that I might be training on Tuesday. Cadets, we're going to test how you fare against cannons. Go stand over there.
The germ, the seed of evil has been planted in his mind, and now the poor cadets will suffer as a result. I feel like that's what they're doing at the moment in the middle of the plain. You've got 6 people out here in the plain all on their own with Pajti, I think his name is. Pajti, 15th foot. He just lost Cadet Angry next to himself. So these two guys, I have to say, there's not even any rocks in this area. So it's not exactly like they've got anywhere to hide behind to get cover.
It does look like the training area for the Olympic long jump raking team.
Yes, it does have a kind of raky look to it at the moment, I have to say.
It's completely devoid of any sort of grit and it's all perfectly wavy.
Yeah, it's very barren. It's very hostile. There are no discernible features, and it looks to be a thoroughly unpleasant place to be. It's like Milton Keynes.
The only other thing I could possibly think is we're going to have a 100-a-side beach volleyball game.
Yeah, but do you really want to see these men in bikinis? Because that's kind of the uniform. Do you really want to see that? I don't think so.
Depends if they use Joja's head as the ball.
Yeah, but you know then the ball will float because there's not much in there to hold it down. So
It'll be constantly going to one direction, that'll be for sure.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Curveballs. Add a bit of spice to the game.
Distinctly possible. So yeah, I think. Oh, and a bit of team killing going on there as well. Oh, and mass suicide. So everyone's drunk in Napoleonic Kool-Aid by the looks of it.
Yep. I think they're trying to balance the teams in that fun game of, oh, we've got regiments of every possible size. Who can we swap to get this closer to 100 and 100?
Yeah, the thing is, it's kind of, you want as fair a game as possible because it's no fun to have the teams completely one-sided. But obviously, speaking from an admin point of view, you kind of get used to the fact that, you know, you get in there and not everybody has the settings or the people that they said they did, and so you then have to start juggling people around, and it's a little bit of a hassle, especially with this amount of numbers. You know, you're talking about at least sort of 200 people as a total, and you know, so if the admin sounds a little testy in admin chat, that will be a reason why.
So it looks like we're changing the map. Apparently the big bowl of doom was not the map of choice for actually playing.
Apparently not, no. They're not... Oh, and we've changed again.
Yeah, the desert mountain range didn't appeal to them either, apparently.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of... I mean, how does it work? Is it literally just a random seed? You just select random map and it comes up with a random seed and you just go from there?
You can pick the type of map. So you can see it says random desert large. There'll be random desert large, random desert forest large, random tundra large, things like that. So you get a degree of choice, but other than that, it is just a big random seed and it picks whatever it likes.
Ah, right. Now this is looking a lot better. I'm seeing significantly more, I should say, cover behind these rocks over here on one side, and of course rocks over by the spawn. So at least when they spawn, they do have a little bit of cover. So we are just following the two-dimensional bird at the moment. I do love our two-dimensional bird. It's very good as he's moving through the middle. So at least they've got a little bit of variation on hills here. It's going to be hard for the enemy to sneak up on them. Don't know. What do you think on this one, Mal?
I'm not sure the artillery would be too happy. They do like having their big hill to sit on at the back, and neither of these sides really have that. There's one slightly off to the side, so you might see one team circling around to try and capture that, but it's quite a long pull for their cannon.
Right, well, it looks like we have now gone live, and let's see if we can lock in, see what's going on. So, let's see. Numbers looking pretty good. So you've obviously got, for the Austrians, you've got the 77Y, the I-15, the KKA in there, NR-57. So many people on the Austrian side there as well. And on the side of the United Kingdom, the Brits, we have the 7th TEL, the 7th, the 15-foot, and a lot more in there as well. So it looks like they're all getting set up, getting all their lines organised, and should be moving out at some point soon. They can see the enemy from where they're spawning.
The 77Y and the KK, they were going for the patented Y formation, with one line butting into the middle of the next one.
That's the thing, you see. You can kind of use this as a formation and disciplinary recording. So you can comment on the 77Y, make secret notes afterwards. So
we've got Scruff, complete with beard, leading skirmishers ready to catch his cannonball for the day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, Scruff, it's time for your 8:30 cannonball.
Got to get that daily fibre.
Yeah. Yes. He eats, it's like Weetabix, he eats at least 3 a day. So we're just waiting to see what's going on. It looks like both of these guys, the Austrians, are making their way pretty much up the centre of the map in looking at maybe 4 sections, no, 5 sections of the regiment, and you've got the cavalry moving over to the far left-hand side, and yeah, it's looking good. It looks like the line is being led over here. The Englishmen are leading with what looks to be light infantry and skirmishers as they're moving out, supported by line infantry at the rear. So that's quite interesting to see what's going to happen here. It's going to be the two forces. We've got people lining up in the middle there, and it's looking pretty good, Mal.
Yeah, they're definitely right to be leading with those skirmish units, and as long as the line are there to scare off the cavalry, they should do well. If the line weren't there, that skirmisher unit would definitely have received a hussar charge right about there.
Yeah, I suppose that's the advantage, is that you use the skirmishers with the accuracy, the long accuracy of the Baker rifles in this case, to get in there and do damage to the line infantry, where the line infantry covers the back of the skirmishers with the bayonets and prevents them from being jumped by the cavalry. So it's that sort of combined forces benefit that will help them out. Now we're looking at Senkris over here, 15th Light Colonel, with his line. We've also got a beautifully drilled line over on the far side from Skittles Timberlake from the 7th. And you've also got a collection of Scots people, always dangerous, with Alt Neo. Look at that lovely fire coming in there. And it's looking pretty good so far. The skirmishers being smart, they're standing back out of the way, and the line infantries of the Austrians are not really engaging at the moment, Mal.
No, from looking at who the different units are, the majority of the United Kingdom are actually made up of the 15th, so they'll have good coordination. The 77Y not being able to bring as many as they would to a Sunday event because other regiments wanted to get in, they probably will suffer a bit more on the Austrian team because of that. So that's why the riflemen and the light infantry were so well covered there. They've also got access to their cavalry as well. So at least 4 units on the UK are in decent comms. Looks like the Austrian skirmishers are about to suffer a cavalry charge, as we mentioned.
Yeah, just moving over to them at the moment, and it looks like they decided to move back as the dragoons are taking out people. Holy crap, that's really bad. So the dragoons are taking out a sheer amount of numbers, and that's a bit of a banana-y line, but it's definitely in there.
Cadet Mr. Wise has just headshot Scruff.
Oh, brilliant. That's just perfection in itself. Absolute perfection. It doesn't get any better than that. So, yeah, Scruff has just been assassinated, understandably. You know, I mean, who doesn't want to shoot Scruff in the back of the head? And it looks like now the Austrian skirmishers are moving back after losing, I would say, maybe 5 possibly or so, number of people off of their line. So that's going to hurt them. They're going to move back. We've still got an Austrian line over on the right-hand side trying to engage as Cannonball comes over from Cadet Daydreamer of the 15th RT, taking out a few members of the NR57, and pretty good fire coming in from the Austrians at the moment.
Yep, they're definitely putting down good fire. I've just spotted some cavalry heading for the Austrian guns. I'm just running over to see which faction that is heading that way. If that's British cavalry, they're in trouble. It does look like the hussars, though. Yes,
okay. Looking to see what's going on. I'm following the skirmishers over on the far side. Now, they're moving up with what looks to be dragoons. There is still a small smattering of dragoons available. It looks to be a small amount of them, so they'll still be helpful, but they won't be as dominant as they maybe might have been with more numbers. You've got the light. Oh, dear. The 15th Light Mad Vixen just got taken out. And now the skirmishers have moved up to try and engage the line that is hiding amongst the rocks. But it looks like they're actually in danger of being flanked here on the left-hand side by 2 lines of Austrians, Mal.
I'm apparently in a different part of the map. So give me a second. I was looking at the left flank of the British assault, so I'm not sure where you're at.
I'm over by the rocks. Over by the rocks near... you've got a bunch of... where the dragoons are. So yeah. So you can see now, basically, you've got a flanking line over on the left-hand side of the Baker riflemen, and 2 other sort of lines coming in, and the dragoons obviously hiding behind one of the hills. And it looks like they've lost their flag bearer for the dragoons. So that's looking a bit unfortunate. And more riflemen being taken out there by the line infantry, the 77Y line infantry, taking out members of the 15th Foot and the 15th Rifle. So accurate fire, they're coming in from the 77Y, and it looks like the skirmishers are looking to make use of the rocks around this area to defend themselves against the attack. In come the hussars, take down a couple members of the British line infantry, coming to the support of their I almost said co-workers, but they're colleagues. So here we go. We're looking at the line moving out. So how's things looking from where you are, Mal?
I'm slightly further across the map from you, looking at the British skirmishers who have been rapidly head off by the KKA and the I-15. They didn't quite close the net on them quick enough to get the full encirclement, so they are making a break for the map edge, but they are being cut off from the rest of their team, and melee charges are going in about now.
But now the question is, I've got to stop saying that. I'm waiting for an opportunity for the dragoons to come barreling in from the rear, because this is the kind of opportunity that they would look for, I would have thought, to try and hit them from the rear. However, you do now have the hussars running them down, and running down the there we go. It looks like they're trying to run towards that English line. The hussars are going to try and turn away before all the Baker riflemen get taken out, and yep, Twilight Sparkle manages to catch a sword from FAP Patrol, which is just
quite surprised the 70 volley there hit absolutely nothing, given the amount of people arrayed in front of them. The return fire, not so unfortunate. Oh, there we go. They've got one this time. Yippitopia catching the bullet, and they're now heading back for their cannons, which is a sensible choice.
Yeah, so they're moving back, obviously, under the watchful eye of the hussars, who have now taken this opportunity while they turned and run to jump in there and try and do some damage, while the Austrian lines move up behind them. So it looks like a successful damage here done by the hussars, at the same time as the dragoons, the English dragoons, come flying in to try and support their teammates. So it's looking a bit brutal here at the moment. Oh, lovely sword swipe there. And Epic Milkshake, that's just a wonderful name. So poor old troll guy gets killed with a sabre to the face from Breathe. And there's not many members of the dragoons remaining. I think I can just see one guy. Oh, Siri just takes a canister shot to the face. The remaining dragoon, I think, is just about to suffer.
There's three lined up back at the cannons, and the British are pulling all of their lines back to there. The Austrian assault had to wait for their skirmishers to come up, because they don't want to assault the cannon with their lines directly. So we could be in for a big battle here as everyone forms up for the final stand.
Yeah, just moving over the hill at the moment. We're following the hill, and as they are moving in, so we've got there's Oinky, I think it was Oinky? Yeah, Inky, sorry. So Inky, they're moving in. So here is the big long line battle. Lovely fire coming in from the 7th, taking down members of the NR57, and yeah, they're lining up with the infantry, but they've got to be careful, because those cannons are literally looking right down their noses, and it looks like they've managed to take out one of the cannoneers, and there is still another cannon, but he's pointing in the opposite direction to the lines which are coming in from behind them. So this looks to be a classic encircling style maneuver, would you say, Mal?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just watching the line battle at the very back. You've got the 7th, they fired a shot and then instantly ran, so they didn't take return fire, and they're now in a who can reload first battle with the line engaging them. But the Austrians are bringing up support, encircling them, as you said. So we could just have to see. I suspect the skirmishers are the best place to take out the remains of that cannon crew, because of course they can spread out. But whether that will occur with these cavalry riding around is still yet to be seen.
Yeah, now looking at the 7th at the moment, they've got a beautifully drilled line here at the moment. Oh, heavens above, look at that.
That is why you charge, and or at least run at an angle towards cannons and not try to line your nose up with the gun barrel.
So there we go, boys and girls. That's a very important lesson learned, I have to say, as the dragoons are looking to clear up a few members of the riflemen. A few people taking a little bit of a shot there, and there we go. So English Hitman being taken down with a sabre slice, feet also going down as well, and Temurai being barged to the floor by a horse. So that's going to go down well, as it looks like there's a few member of the English artillery team now dealing with members of the 77Y moving in. So we're watching Disaster Soldier get stabbed in the face. Drugged Up Turtle has just been assassinated by Cadet, so that's just wonderful, because he killed me on the fun round last week. So
So Gaz just got taken out. There's not much of his line left. The Hussars are finally coming in to help clear this cannon crew. I'm not sure where they went. There may have been someone attacking the friendly artillery.
Yeah, we're looking at Cadet Sean at the moment. He's one of the few people left. Oh, he's even fewer left. Doombringer gets taken down, and Gunner Murray is last man standing. Oh, we lovely stab there into the Dragoon. And he is, at the moment, looking a little bit damaged. Got a bit of blood on his uniform. And it looks like he's being supported by his teammates coming in. And the stabbing has continued.
This is 60YG Chris. He's a very good melee fighter, although the numbers there did overwhelm him eventually.
Yeah, I've heard tales of Chris. So we're just looking at the 7th now. Oh, the 7th just snuck up on them while they weren't paying attention. That's not going to be good, as now loads of people have just been taken down by the 7th. A great charge in there by the 7th. They've lined up beautifully, aimed and fired, and took out a huge amount of the Austrians now.
That was a very poor choice by whichever officer this is. I can't recognise the face, so it's probably one of the NCOs. He should not have formed line in front of a fully reloaded line like that. But what can you do? They learn through experience.
That's the thing. You learn by doing. You know, some of these lessons get learned. Oh dear, that's not going to go well. Mustard may come a cropper, as he's one of the few hussars remaining. Breathe taking down Thorin, and Skittles Timberlake. Kingster being taken down by Mustard again. So there's lots of, and he finally gets garroted and gutted, I should say, with a bayonet. So we've looked pretty good at the moment. Let's see how the numbers are. 9 versus 5. This is going to be somewhat silly or very interesting. We'll have to see now.
Yeah, I think the problem the Austrians will have is their numbers at this set left are mostly cannon crew, so unless they can get their hands on something worth fighting with, it may not go quite so well for them. Or if they get some lucky cannon hits.
Yeah, so now the thing is, obviously, we're looking at a last man standing. Yes, definitely now a last man standing. As poor old Gunner Murray just got pole-axed with a very nice bayonet thrust, and we are now looking at the Austrian artillery. Now, the question is, what are they going to do? Are they, because normally what would happen is, this is no fun that you have to run the other side of the map, and you kind of have both sides charge at each other. Is that the kind of thing you'd normally do?
That's normally the case when there's only artillery left on both teams. When one team has a line and the other has artillery, it's generally accepted that the line have to go and engage the artillery.
Okay, well, that's fair then. So, I mean, it's just, what can I say? Let's have a look over on the left-hand side. We've got one guy who seems to be at one with a rock, occasionally twitching. That's Black Tide over there. And you've got a Rain Heavy in there as well. Commander White Finn. You've got Can Biscuit in here. And Nub Torn. So these are the Austrians. And you've got Wach Andy, who appears to be surrendering. He seems to be some kind of serial surrenderer. And we're just waiting for the English contingent to arrive. And it seems that their Blade plus Nub seems to be getting lost on a line. How is it possible to get lost on a line of 4 people?
I believe he was actually scattering to dodge the cannonball. But
okay.
He is only an invite, so his experience in line battles might be limited.
Yeah, fair dues, fair dues. So let's have a look. How does the invite system normally work when it comes to regiments? Is it just they invite you to come along and play with them and stuff like that? Is it only approved people? How does that work normally?
It very much differs from regiment to regiment. Personally, I don't like accepting invites because you're obviously responsible for them because they've got your tags on, but they've never been to your training sessions, so they don't know how to behave. They generally don't even bother to look up the rules for the event, so I don't usually allow them when I'm involved. But if a lot of other regiments who need to make up numbers, they will just allow you to put on the tags basically and then play. You just have to approach them and ask. Okay,
well, now we're looking at Gecko Cookies, who's a
oh, very close.
That was very close indeed. I literally saw the cannonballs go flying past the camera. So now the thing is, this is interesting because we just had one guy drop all his cartridges. That's not going to go down well. And the question is, do you think they're going to stand and fire, or they're going to run in and charge and bayonet him?
I suspect the cannons will be going for canister shot back now. There we go. Treble catching a headshot. And there's the second one. So it's now 2 on 6. Now, I think the arty crew should have this. They've got 2 guards, they've got an officer, and they've still got the 2 cannon operators. Unless these 2 British are very good at melee and very lucky at dodging bullets.
I have to say though, it was quite impressive that Treble made it this far and then died to a canister shot. So much heart for the Treble. Oh dear, there we go. So Gecko Cookies is the last man standing. Is he going to go in there and actually take on these 2 people? If he can go clutch and take them out, that will be very interesting. We'll have to see. No, he's not.
The canister shot through a friendly there, from the perspective that I could see, was an interesting choice by the team.
Well, you know, acceptable losses. You know, it's in the same way that you would shoot through cadets to kill the important commander or whatever it is like that. You know, I mean, it's acceptable losses under the circumstances for the greater good.
Of course.
Yes, goes without saying. So let's watch the Austrians as they're getting set up. Obviously, all the skirmishers. There is the soon-to-be corpse of Scruff. He's currently vertical, but obviously not for very long, based on his track record. And we're watching as Jelger, Cornstalk Boy, making his way out. Now, the question is, which direction is he going? I don't think he knows. And
Treble has requested we edit out the bit where he skillfully jumped into a canister shot and was brutally massacred in the face. Just in case anyone missed that, he did catch canister in the face. Yes.
Now, I mean, you know, catching a cannonball in the face is quite impressive, but catching canister, that's much more elite. You know,
yes.
It's
a much smaller ball that you have to aim your face for.
Yeah. So, you know, it's a certain amount of accuracy and a certain amount of skill is involved.
And they're so unpredictable in where they're going to go. You have to do the sort of crazy football dive to try and get your face there in time. It's tough work. Treble's a master of the art.
This is true. He is without comparison in this community. So let's just wait and see what's going to happen as we are now watching the 15th Rifle. So they've got the Baker rifles. Obviously, the rifling gives them increased accuracy. They do not have the bayonet. They've got swords that are about the length of a toothpick and about as useful. But they have that increased accuracy that those rifles give them, so they can engage at range. And we're watching them as they move up, supported by line infantry and dragoons, taking pot shots at what looks like hussars over the far side of the hill. Now, the question is, what are the Austrians going to do, you think, now?
I believe the Austrians are actually trying to rush the same hill the British did last time, rather than just allowing them the high ground this time, which is probably a good tactic. The 15th seem to be holding back. The British aren't being quite so aggressive to take that hill today. Not really sure what their overall plan is. They're kind of holding back at the moment. There's still a big line at their spawn.
Okay, well, we're looking at Inky for the Austrians at the moment, and you've got a bunch of the 77Y also in there as well. And let's see who their scouter is. So Gaz is scouting out the area, checking with the spyglass under the watchful eye of the two-dimensional bird. And he's obviously seeing the cannons. You can see the marks in the ground from the nearby shots. So it could be in a position of danger here. We have to see what happens now.
Yeah, both teams are playing it very defensive. They neither want to go for the highest ground on the map, because that's just asking for cannons to take your head off. They're both sitting there waiting for the other to come and take it, by the look of it. Nobody's really too bothered. The cavalry seems to be roaming around a bit. They're mostly just letting their cannons blast at each other for a while. But, I mean, they've got 56 minutes on the timer. They're fully entitled to do so.
I don't think I've come across a line battle that took 56 minutes.
Oh, I've been in one that's been 32. That was an interesting time for the dead people that died in the first sort of 6 minutes. But
you mean the Jelgers or the people like that who have a tendency to die usually in the first minute to minute and a half of a battle?
That, and there are specific regiments that take great pride in the entire tactic being charge the enemy as soon as they possibly can from the very start of the event, regardless of whether it means all sitting there dead for the rest of it.
Oh, well, you know, you got to have a bit of fun. This is what this kind of game is all about. So let's see, as we're looking at the dragoons scouting out the area, and let's see if we can fly past as cannons balls come bouncing towards the English lines from the Austrian artillery being fired. We've got the hussars moving out to one side, another line regiment moving out to another on the opposite side, and obviously a nice collection of possibly standard line infantry moving out as well. Now, there seems to be a smaller line right at the back. I don't know what they're doing over here. Whether or not they're English or not, I don't know. The Hussars, yeah, they're English. They're sneaking up on the cannons of the Austrians here, and they're about to run into a bunch of extremely nasty Hussars. Looks like they are moving in. Yeah, that looks like a blob effect. There we go. The Hussars go in for the charge. Oh, they managed to take down a few people. So looking good, but I think this poor line has been unfortunately jumped on by the Hussars, and they are going to get absolutely butchered. This is very unfortunate.
The firing squad is forming up to finish the job.
Yeah, pretty much. Now the trouble is obviously is the fact that the line, unfortunately, while being a little small, it was a great play though, I have to say, the way they snuck all the way around there to do the damage that they did. Certainly advantageous, and it's taken down the Hussars in a certain amount of number as well, Mal.
Yeah, it's taken down 4 of the cavalry. I think that was greed on the Hussars' part. There were 2 lines there fully formed up, ready to just decimate whatever survived, but they decided to keep throwing bodies at it. That's just a lack of communication in team play, I believe, but that's what you get when you have multiple regiments across multiple TeamSpeak servers.
That's always a technical problem. Now, that was Fanji there who did a great job there, I have to say. That was very good indeed, running with his line up there to try and take out that artillery. Now, we're obviously watching the imminently dead Scruff with his line of skirmishers as they are taking pot shots at what appears to be a line and maybe moving in towards the artillery. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
There's a lot going on the other side of the map. 15th are pushing up both of their skirmishers and their light infantry on the cannon. There's no Austrian lines nearby to support in time, and there's British reinforcements coming in the form of lines as well.
Okay, well this could get very messy indeed. Let's see if we can move in and find out what's going on. As we're looking at this at the moment as we've got bunches of Austrians also. Yeah, looking over on the far right-hand side, we're about to have a line of Austrians and a line of Englishmen run into each other. However, it looks like the English have decided to turn back towards their artillery cannons and will decide to hold that as a defensive point, Mal.
Yep, Senkris catching a nice bit of canister there with 2 of his fellows, and the rest of the light infantry taken out. The skirmishers did turn away before that happened, though. They're now currently fighting with what looks like the cavalry. Let's have a quick look at this fight. They look like they're nicely supported, so that shouldn't be a problem. The English Dragoons in there. Of course, the English Dragoons, being English, don't actually have any guns like every other type of Dragoon in the game. They are, however, classed as heavy cavalry, so though their horses are slower, they have a lot more health and are very good at charging through units of line infantry. Yeah,
looking at the English artillery, just about to come under fire from an awful lot of English. And there you go, so Cadet Daydreamer looks like he tried to take out some people. They tried to do it. No, the final remaining members.
The Highlanders just got seriously flanked whilst engaged from the front as well.
Oh, goodness me, yes.
They caught a whole volley from the 77Y in the rear, and they took a shot from the KKA in the front, leaving, how many's that? I see 9, 8 maybe, dead in just a single volley.
Wow.
And now they're beating a hasty retreat.
Yes, they are now choosing it in the opposite direction. Fortunately, they got some reinforcements coming up to cover them, so that will certainly help them as the 7T making their way out. As nice fire coming in from the 15th Rifles, taking down Cadet Spurf and Bobby. And yeah, that was definitely a good play there.
Have you seen the fort at the Austrian artillery currently being circled wagon train style by the cavalry?
Wow, that is just beyond ridiculous. But, you know, I think that's what's known in the game as defensively minded. But, yeah, that's an engineer with too much spare time.
Yep, to be able to get that set up completely unmolested in cannon fire is just impressive.
Yeah, it is pretty good. So, we're just watching the remaining members. Looks like we've got a Baker Rifleman who's picked up a musket and is trying to deal with it. And you've got the remaining members of the skirmishers trying to get, oh, lovely dodging there by Maxim. He's come in now with his bayonet, going in and trying to kill one of the commanders. There we go. So it's Major Dr. Boomflaps, great name, getting taken down. So the NR-57 doing a great job of taking down these skirmishers. There's a lone dragoon over here who just got cut down an enemy. There we go, and the dragoon is now down.
Got
That's
lines,
Captain Archer.
lines coming in on the cavalry. In goes the canister. Oh, only 2.
Yeah, so we're looking now at this line pushing up towards the artillery. Now, this is going to be interesting because there is a line by the artillery over the other side of the hill of the Austrians. They're going to run into a line. Oh, Inky takes a bullet very quickly. Oh, look at this. This is wonderful stuff. As the English now moving in, taking cover behind that area. Line is a little bit scrappy, but we're just looking as they now decided to charge in. And we're just seeing what's going on as there we go, fire coming in here also from Gunner Murray, and looks like they've decided to move into the melee aspect of it as another line of Austrians move up. Here we go, here is 77Y Light, and there's Captain Jelger moving into position to support his teammates, as there are no doubt. Here we go, in comes the charge, and I think it's fair to say that one of the few men standing, Skittles Timberlake, just taken down one of the enemy. Biscuit has been well and truly cooked. Oh, and he kills Lieutenant Gaz there with a lovely saber swipe. And he decides to get out his spyglass and cheese it in the opposite direction. Goes for a nice turning stab there and doesn't get very far as he gets cut to pieces by Riki. So there we have it. The Austrians have won another round now.
Yep, and we're currently being accused of ghosting for the 77Y, so it shows how much the people know.
Yes, because we don't want to let facts get in the way on the internet.
Of course.
Yes. Facts in the internet. Who would have thought it? Anyway. Never mind. So, let's see what's going on as we are going to see if we can follow the English. Now, there's lovely lines here, all getting set up. Dragoons all sorting themselves out. And there's Private Muffin Man. Great name. So we can see Senkris also moving out with his line. And there seems to be an engineer in his leather apron with his hammer. That's El Pablo, 15th Light. And Rubbish Guy also making his way out. So nice line of numbers here from the point of view of the English here. Looking pretty good. And there's obviously Major Dr. Boomflaps. A bit of a mouthful when it comes to the name there. But so you can see everybody slowly moving out from the English side. And we're just waiting to see what's happening. Now,
there is a single line going the opposite direction to the rest of the team. If the Austrians spot that and capitalise on it, this could be painful for them. Let's see who it is. It is the 7th, Colonel Skittles, Timberlake.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see what's happening. As if they can do this right, if they can time it, then it's a matter of getting into the right position, very similar to what they did on the previous round, and trying to head somebody off at the pass.
It looks like the Austrians may have noticed. I can see in the distance a line heading back to this side of the map.
Looks that way at the moment. Let's see who these are. That looks to be, yeah, there we go. Pride of NI, Pride of Knee, Hauptmann, NR57. He's moving back towards the artillery to support yet another defensive-minded artillery. Another wonderful design there, as you can see. And we're just waiting to see what's happening. So the yeah, and they've also got, this is interesting. The Hussars are moving over to the right-hand side of the map. And that will certainly make things very interesting as far as we're concerned, Mal.
Yeah, so the big advantage of the Hussars is they have light horses which have less health than standard horses but are considerably faster, so they can always outrun the British cavalry, and they should be able to react around the map a lot quicker if they need to do so. But,
yeah.
Currently they're running straight at the line of infantry without support, so I'm not sure how this is going to go.
It has the potential to be messy, I would say. It looks like they've decided to circle around and get out of the way, so they can at least see that line there. Now, it looks like the line has decided to move out of the way. So these guys moving their way back, as Wookie Burak seems to have lagged out and is now doing a dozy-do in the middle of the
Okay, so the line and the cavalry are both KKA, so they should be in communication, so that should be going fine on the right. It looks like the 7th have decided better of hanging around and are retreating back to their guns.
Okay, so let's see how the guns are getting on for the English. You've got the engineer also. There's Rubbish Guy setting up. Yeah, they seem to be setting up the possibility of a last line of defence. Also putting in the ramparts to stop cannonballs. That's certainly helpful. And sandbags and all the rest of that funky stuff. So looking pretty good for the cannons for the English side, and doesn't appear to be much happening over on the left side. It seems to be all happening on the right side now.
Yeah, it's definitely all happening up on this hill. That's where all the shooting's going on. The Austrians on with the KKA are still down where they were, but there's no enemies down there for them to fight, so I'm not sure why they're not advancing. They seem to just be holding a big block of territory with nobody anywhere near it.
Yeah, the thing is also, you can see the skirmishers here on the one side of the hill. They're taking it very gingerly because they can only see a certain amount of players. And I suppose from their point of view, from a tactics point of view, they don't really want to rush over the top of there and then suddenly run into the entire British army. That would be a tad unfortunate as far as they're concerned. So I suppose to a certain degree, the skirmishers for the British are doing a good job of holding up any lines, so to speak, on the right side.
Screening that side of the map nicely. The hill they're on means you can't tell the cavalry aren't behind them. From looking at the angle, I don't think anyone else in the Austrian army can actually see the cavalry. So they're doing a good job of hiding out of sight, which it takes a lot of discipline to just sit there and do nothing. So good job for them. They're helping their team out by not doing anything at the moment. And
my kind of guys.
Yeah, eventually they'll contribute in more active ways, but right now they're just scaring off the Austrian skirmishers.
Would you say then that patience is a key part of strategy in this type of game? When you're watching to see what the enemy is doing, it's more to see, let's see what the enemy does before we decide how we're going to react, or do we go in and just force them to react to what we're doing? I mean, how does that work with the point of view strategy?
I mean, it very much depends on how entrenched they are and the terrain and the coordination of the team. If you've got good offensive coordination, then you can just go up and force them. But if you're sort of sporadic in being able to control certain units, you just want to sort of probe their defences and see how they react. They may overcommit, and those sorts of things.
So equivalent of sort of baiting them out. So hopefully you can bait them, kill a few people, disappear in the opposite direction. They'll then charge after you, and you can use that as a potential ambush.
Yeah, I mean, if you can move other units up behind an obvious unit without them being seen, you can bait in all sorts of things. Skirmishers are great for baiting in cavalry that think they're getting an easy kill until they run into the line hiding behind them. But it very much depends on how communicative the team is. If the enemy are all on the comms together and even one of them sees that there's a line moving in that area, they will just relay it to everybody else.
Have you seen the Austrian synchronized aerobics behind these skirmishers?
That's the how to stop cadets getting bored 77Y fitness dance.
Yeah, that's always tend to be the problem I tend to find. I see this in quite a few battles where people they want to get in, they want to get in the battle, they want to get under fire, all the rest of that kind of stuff, and they're kind of chomping at the bit, ready to go. And you need to find various creative ways to keep their attention, so to speak, focused.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see now on this left flank, they've basically got bored of sitting on the hill shooting at each other skirmisher-wise. More Austrians are flanked around the side. They were just sort of biding time, distraction on the hill, while these two lines walked all the way around the side. Yeah.
Looking at that at the moment, as we're looking at fire coming in, and here we go. So we're looking at Pride of Knee, Hauptmann Pride of Knee, wonderful name. Water on the knee, I suppose you could call it. And he's moving up with his line. They're going to start engaging there. So it looks like they're moving forward by 5 paces, getting ready to engage. There goes the presenting onto the English. There we go. And unfortunately, no casualties. But it looks like the skirmishers for the Austrians are now moving in to try and take out the remaining line. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to do an ambush from multiple directions here
Have
now.
a look at the map edge. You can see the British are trying to sneak up on this Austrian line, which is just retiring rather than standing there, which is a sensible move. They were caught downhill and outmanned, and there is British cavalry running rampant further behind them.
Yeah, looking at the British cavalry currently engaged by the hussars as well, and you've then got a nice blob of skirmishers. And this can't be an official round because Scruff is still vertical, and we're looking at Gelger in the middle as well. Picks himself up a rifle, as looks like the dragoons are being taken out slowly and surely, and it looks like the line for the English is slowly moving up closer. You can see the skirmishers slowly moving up, trying to take out as many of those as they can, but they're coming under fire from lines in all directions. And you've got the line infantry here over on the right hand side, the far side, the 7 TE looking wonderful this evening. And obviously we've got the Herbert the Pervert from the 7th, great name by the way. They are presenting and firing up at the hussars, probably on the far hill, as it looks like cavalry's taking out members of the 77Y now.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for the 77Y skirmishers that they got rushed quite so badly, because right now they really need those skirmishers to deal with all these infantry. The British have preserved their skirmisher unit nicely. They do seem to have a light infantry, which I've not seen replicated on the Austrian team, so I'm not sure who's meant to be playing that, if anyone. Having a whole extra unit that can skirmish is obviously a massive advantage in these infantry fights.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a line of 77Y about to engage the Scots Guards over the Black Watch over the other side. Nice fire coming in there from Brad Apple and obviously Ranger and Scruff at the back there, firing out of line, I do believe. As
Scruff will be a skirmisher, so he's probably allowed to fire whenever he likes.
Cheating. So we're just looking to see what's going on, as you've got the 7 TE there making a move up. You've also got a huge amount of line infantry moving through the skirmishers as they are engaging towards the Austrian line infantry with the hussars at the rear. And this is not looking good for, I would say, cannonball from Hauptmann Pie. Yep. Lovely shot, taking out Tainted Turnip, Epic Milkshake and Flunky. What a nice combo.
Yeah, from looking at the numbers, it's actually very balanced. The teams are almost identical. It's just the British have a concentration of infantry, whereas the Austrians have their cavalry still riding around, which doesn't seem to really be engaging. It doesn't want to brave this massive line of muskets.
Yeah, but it looks like they've decided to try and do something like they're trying to break up the line at the moment.
Yeah.
There's Radwell taking out Benjovsky, and it looks like a few members of the hussars have been dehorsed, and they're charging right through the centre of the English line, trying to take out as many people as they can.
Yeah, they've completely distracted them, so now's the time for those Austrian troops to move up, and which they are doing, and they are focusing on this tightly clustered square in the middle here. So there's some excellent shooting coming in. KKA taking out a lot of troops there, 7 or 8 in a volley.
Yeah, fantastic play and wonderful timing by the KKA. Wonderful timing indeed. They're moving up, and you can see them very well drilled here. This is wonderful to see. Basically, taking 10 paces forward, presenting, firing, taking 10 paces forward, presenting, firing. This is kind of drilling that takes a lot of practice and a lot of discipline, I suppose you could say, Mal.
Yeah, definitely. And I think discipline is the problem the British will be having now. They had a cluster of lines in there, and they're left with bits of each of them, and it's never easy to have multiple lines that are out of communication trying to fight together as a unified force once that's all that's left.
Yeah, so we're looking at the moment, and let's see what's going on. This is going to be the last stand of the English, as they're now being charged by a group of enemies with bayonets fixed. There we go. The crack just gets taken out. One of the hussars just got his horse just got taken down, and he nearly got goosed by a bayonet. Fortunately, his friends are there to help him out. Oh, Foz gets taken down with a nice stab by Gecko Cookies again. Wow, Gecko Cookies seems to spend an awful lot of time surviving in these battles, I have to say. Quite impressive stuff going on. And so the question is, we've got 3 English, 3 of the British side left standing. The question is, where are they?
The Austrian artillery. Oh, he just shot the gunner that was about to fire.
So very nice indeed. This is good timing by the English. We've lost Yokel. He got taken down by Pye. I think Pye just shot him in the face. As we're now waiting. Oh, there we go. Mad Vixen dies. Last man standing for the English. Private Brian. We're watching him trying to. Oh.
Team
And
kills.
Biscuit celebrates his murder with a team kill and a quick teabag, Mel.
Yep. It was kind of deserved. Biscuit did catch a bayonet off of Pie there when he walked in front of him, so payback's a bitch, I guess.
Yeah, nothing like saying thank you with a sharp pointed bayonet thrust to the belly.
So we're on to the second map. Let's see what we end up with. It looks like they're going for desert again.
Oh, God.
I doubt this mountainous one will get selected.
No.
Although
Well,
there are some
look,
big hills. If their cannons spawn in the right places, they may well select it.
yeah, isn't it? No. Knew it wouldn't last. Obviously, it's good from a point of view of the battle because you can see everything. Now, this is the kind of thing that we're looking at. This is nice because then you've got trees, you can hide. This is actually quite an interesting map. I do like plains, grass maps, things of that nature with a little bit of brush and tree and foliage around the place.
The Austrians are going to be at a severe disadvantage on this map. They've got a massive hill in front of them they're going to have to drag their guns up onto if they want to seek anything.
Wow.
Whereas the British, let's go take a look at their start. If I can find a British, there we go. They start right on an artillery hill. So the British guns will be active long before the Austrians.
Okay, well, that's a downside, I suppose. Bear in mind that the Austrians have won 3 of the rounds thus far, so the English have it all to do. We're just waiting to see what's going on, as we now have a Rain Heavy standing on a dynamite box, which can only go well. Don't see a lot of dynamite in these games, for obvious reasons, because it can be too easily abused.
Yeah, you see a lot in the public servers, and you'll nearly always have someone that sets up a lovely little fort, one in the middle so that he can suicide himself if someone comes to kill him, and someone will sneakily run up, set it off on his own team, and blow all his hard work to bits.
Always the case, and it looks like we are underway here with the English spawning, obviously, over to one side. They've got to climb up this rather tall hill, but it's a tall hill that once they get to the top will give them good visibility over, I would say, 3/4 of the map. Now, obviously, looking at it from a English point of view, let's see if we can lock in on the English. As, like you said, they're kind of to one side of a artillery hill. The hill's not as high as the Austrian hill, but it gives them a very good vantage point over pretty much most of the map, if not all of it, Mal.
Yeah, there's a small section in the middle they can't see over, but so they could suffer skirmishers coming up onto that and giving them fire. There's quite a few trees as well that can be used to sort of leapfrog up and advance on them, but otherwise it's a good position. They've got lots of lovely vision. I'm just going to check the Austrian one now. The guns are still climbing it slowly. Let's have a look. They've got a bit better sight. That hill in the centre is still going to give them some problems, and their left side is not very good at all, just due to the increased elevation on that side.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I noticed is the fact that because of that increased elevation, it means they've got more chance of being flanked on the left side. So that could be a problem for them. They're probably going to have to focus some line troops over to the left, because it looks like that's what they're doing, because I think they recognise that the left side is going to be their weakest side, because they won't be able to have the visibility that they would normally have that they got on the right side of their mount.
Yep, it's also the strongest side from their infantry's perspective, because they got plenty of stuff to hide behind with respect to not getting shot by the enemy cannon.
Yes, that's. I think that's pretty high on the shopping list of things not to do, as it looks like we've got the skirmishers moving out as well, following up, supporting the line infantry. Oh, Riki catching a cannonball in the first 2 minutes of the game.
I think they were aiming for Scruff there. About half a second later, he ran past that point. So.
Oh, really? Well, isn't that technically officer targeting then?
I don't think it really matters with cannons. You can't generally tell who's where.
It's not like they. Well, although yeah, to be honest, they aren't. They're not like they're Scruff-seeking cannonballs.
No,
but,
not like the Woden-seeking variants the 77Y sometimes has equipped.
Yes, I have seen those in action, and they are brutal. And it looks like we've got lines of the Austrians and the skirmishers about to meet up with an extremely large bunch of English and dragoons right in the middle on the left-hand side. There we go, fire coming in from the 77Y into the 7th as well. You've got another line coming up on the left-hand side, and you've got dragoons who seem to be having a little bit of a tough moment there. They've decided to back out. And you've got two lines, 77Y lines. There we go. A few being taken down. Bradder's getting taken down. Line looks to be trying to take out those dragoons as well.
Yes, these are the actual light dragoons now. These guys do have guns, which I believe they have to form up fire, so I don't think we'll be seeing any drive-bys, but who knows? Without having the event rules to hand, I'm only speculating there.
Yeah, but this is looking pretty good because good timing there. Charlie the Turtle gets team killed. As it looks like a nice flanking maneuver there by the Austrians, managed to take out a large amount of forces of the English, and now they've got the lines moving up to try and support what was the cavalry, those light dragoons that you mentioned earlier, as they got pretty badly decimated. So we've got the Black Watch over here and standard line infantry from the 7th. They are all over here on one side. And lovely fire coming in from the 70E. Look at that, beautiful drilling. Lovely organised line, looking great. And
Sorry, Gelger's not noticing the massive enemy line just over the hill that he could sneak up on the flank of and decimate, but it looks like Scruff is fully aware of this case and is risking his own men by running in front of a line to go and get those kills. So here he comes, he's about to open fire, he's got a full side-on view of them, and so far they've all missed. There we go.
And Mark Slayer manages to catch a bullet, probably meant for Scruff. But yeah, so there's Scruff in there, and
so now the Highlanders are charging, and they're going to run straight into a line that Scruff should retreat behind.
Yes. So this will be used as a learning tool for the for Scruff and his team.
Don't run in front of an angry Gelger that's currently in the process of shooting.
Exactly. Yes. So if you find out on the next line battle or siege that Scruff has been demoted to cadet, then you know why, as the Austrians are now moving in, and you've also got the light dragoons now moving in at the same time, taking advantage of this moment. They're all over the skirmishers, but there is a line also supporting those skirmishers, that section in the middle. So it looks like the light dragoons are going to try and have to get out of there as quickly as they can, as Brady Quest managed to shoot one of his teammates. And yeah, that's pretty nasty, as we've now got the Hussars moving up to take out the light dragoons as quickly as they can now.
Yeah, I think the Hussars would have been better placed trying to get those skirmishers, because they're currently completely unsupported. It looks like they're going for them now, maybe. Yep, they've spotted them now. In they go. The skirmishers, they're not having any bayonets to deal with them.
Yeah, looking at that at the moment, so it's not looking good as far as they're concerned. You've got a couple of guards in there.
Oh.
You've got a lone guy in the background as well. Poor old El Pablo.
Three horses there riding into each other, crashing. That's a big problem with cavalry. You have to be aware of both where your horse is, where the enemy is, and where all your friendly horses are, or you will just crash into each other and stop.
Yeah, that's always the case. And there we go. That's another round over and another win for the Austrians. That was... What won them that round, do you think, Mal?
I think the lines coming up on the flanks and just completely decimating British lines in a single volley was... It causes them to panic and run away, usually, at least a small amount. Not as much as you would find in real life, where you actually have morale. But of course, you don't usually want to stand there with a full line on your flank that are busily reloading to fire the next volley.
That always seems to be the case. Now, let's see what's going on as we're watching HSM Felix. In as the cavalry, in as the light dragoons, obviously looking very nice and complete with handbag. And it looks to be one more round after this one, so that will take it, I believe, to a total of 6, I think.
Yeah, I believe this is a 6-round event.
So there you have it, as we are now looking at Alt Neo moving out with his collection of Black Watch and basically getting caught up and going around in circles. So let's see how things go with these guys as we're watching Brum. You've also got Brutus in there as well. The light dragoons are lined up, ready and waiting for the order to go. There we go. The order has been given. The trumpets are braying, and Senkris is setting up with his troops, who seem to be having a little bit of a kick fest and having a few seizures in the line at the moment. Mal, what are the Austrians up to, I wonder?
They are going up on the hill on the left again, I believe. Let's have a look. The guns are probably still getting dragged into position. They are that much further away from their start point than the British. Where are they? Someone's building. I can hear construction. Where is he? He's setting up a barricade around a convenient tree this time.
Oh really? Oh
Yeah.
really? So that tree cannot be assaulted in any way, shape, or form.
The KKA Treehouse Club will be established shortly.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Now, obviously, we're watching Georgia with his line moving up there. Tail end Charlie is Rickamaroo, he of the deadly bayonet. If anyone's come across that in the servers, he is extremely nasty when it comes to melee skills. And let's see what's going on as we're watching Random Tiger appearing to punch somebody as he's riding around as a hussar. So let's see what's going on.
British going to the extreme right. Their dragoons are there, and I'm sure I saw some infantry moving at the same time. Let's see. Yep, they've got their Highlanders. In fact, most of the British army appears to be on the extreme map edge, going through the area that's interestingly wide open for the cannons of the Austrians. So that's interesting. And we've got cries of camping going on in chat as usual. Apparently people just would prefer to run blindly at each other, fight in the middle, and then the whole thing was over. But, you know.
This is not World War One.
No.
But that's certainly the case. Is one of the things that, looking back at the history, especially when the Americans got involved with World War One, they were still using tactics that came from the Civil War, you know, the kind of line approaches and things of that nature. And unfortunately, the tactics did not get updated as much as the weaponry did. So that probably explains a huge amount of casualties that were experienced in the American Civil War and the First World War.
Yep, most definitely. In both cases, the American Civil War, mainly, I think it was just the increased accuracy of the personal firearms, whereas World War One would have been all the advances such as machine guns and artillery. Yeah,
it's a very sobering experience sometimes. But we're watching the English now. Yeah, they seem to be, oh, poor old Major USC for life for the 7th, taking a cannonball kind of very quickly there. And it looks like, it looks like the Austrians have now seen this contingent of English moving up on the left-hand side and have now moved to try and block them off. And it's going to turn into a very nasty, messy battle now.
Yeah, this is going to be a big fight. I am concerned as to where a couple of the British lines have gone, though. They don't seem to have as many troops here as I expected they would have. So there may be some more roaming around somewhere else on the map at the moment. But we'll keep an eye on this main fight for now.
Yeah, now we're watching that at the moment, but what I also noticed is the fact that the Hussars are sneaking around the back. And you have also got a rather sneaky line of Austrians.
Yeah, I suspect that's the KKA line infantry probably communicating.
No, it's not.
No? Okay.
It's Captain Left and Right, Mr. Georgia.
Ah, it's Georgia. He's up to something sneaky. That's unlike him. Oh, wait, here we go. Here's the blank charge straight up the hill. True Georgia style. Who needs shooting? Let's just walk slowly up a hill.
Shooting's for girls.
Admittedly, the British do seem rather busy with their hussar infestation, so they'll probably get away with it this time.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do when they run over the top of this hill and see almost the entire British army. So, nice fat patrol there, taking down Crack Fiend, lovely term, as now Georgia's moving his line up towards the top of the hill and will
stop.
be...
No, Georgia, if he stops now, he's going to take a volley from the side. He's not paying attention to that side unit.
Oh dear. Poor
Fortunately,
Georgia.
they have to reload, so he's got away with that one.
And Upitopia, unfortunately, catches a bullet there again. Poor Upitopia, poor lad. As we're now looking at Wookie Buruk trying to dodge the bayonets coming in. Joseph managed to stab Corporal Riki.
This is why we don't let cannoneers have bayonets.
Poor Joseph. Oh dear, but he makes a good infiltrator. We'll give him that. So well, let's see what's going on as the 77Y looks like they're reforming now, along with their colleagues. There we go. There's Drugged Up Turtle. They're all reforming into their lines, and it looks like the English have decided to back off with Scruff's troops in hot pursuit of them now.
Yeah, definitely backing away from the skirmishers when there's a line in support was a good plan. I'm surprised the hussars didn't at least try and cut them off to try and stop them from retreating, so that the chasing lines could have caught up. You don't generally run through a unit of hussars at full speed to try and get away, but they seem they're circling around to just come in now, opportune moment and all that.
Yeah, looks to be that way. They've just taken down. There we go. The commander of the riflemen has just been taken down, and more people are being attacked by the hussars. We've obviously got the dragoons in there as well, and poor old Siri takes a bayonet, and looks like oh dear, oh lovely stabbing going on there as poor man in the skirt is now choosing it in the opposite direction. As there we go, Moustache wins. Unfortunately, didn't win. He was stabbed by a bayonet from the Scots Guards, and they are now making their way out of there as quickly as possible. There's a lone Scotsman fighting to the death. There's Chris. Oh, we've got to watch this. Chris is the last man standing, and he is fighting off an army of Austrians. Look at this. This is where you see this man's melee skills coming to the fray. Goodness me. He's taking on at least 6 people, but oh, he couldn't hold it off forever. Holy crap, I have to say, that was impressive, Mal.
Yeah, people like Chris and Ricky, they spend a lot of hours practicing their melee. You'll find them in the group fighting server or the melee servers, just practicing for hours on end, going on their Steam profile and looking at how long they've played this game. It's just shocking, really.
But that's always the case. If you want to, if you want to get good at the game, you've got to practice. That's a same thing with pretty much everything, really. I mean, any sport, any kind of game. Anything you do, the better you do it, or the more often you do it, the more you learn about it, the slight nuances that's involved, how the mechanics of the engine works when you're blocking and doing things of that nature, Mal.
Yeah, definitely. This game, especially the melee, is very much a learning curve and a half. You start and you get taught by the tutorial. Oh, attack up, attack down, attack left, attack right, and then you block those directions as well. And then you walk into a server and somebody kicks you and stabs you in the face, or they look like they're going to attack, but then somehow they don't attack, and then they stab you in the face. There's so many things the tutorial does not teach, and you just learn through experience, or if you're lucky, you find someone that's willing to teach you. But even then, you have to invest hours of training to get even remotely competent.
Well, there you go. So when you see the battles with the bayonets and all that kind of funky stuff, there's quite a few hours put behind that in order to remain at least semi-competent, which explains why I suck so bad at melee. As Andre is leading his troops up the hill, we've also got a collection, I think that's Gaz, no, that's Inky, moving his troops in towards the artillery. You've got a couple of engineers at the back here. They're going to have a few problems. A guy who appears to be AFK, that's Patch G. There we go. Cosmo just got taken down. Patchy also taken down. As let's see. Oh dear.
There's some interesting comments going on in chat about whether you're allowed to split lines or not. I guess they're seeing it's from the same regiment. They are actually different lines, which is why they're wearing different uniforms. You can see one's got blue trousers, nice and camouflage there, and the other has white, which is the KKA, and there should be a third one. I'm not sure if anyone's playing the Grenadiers today. Let's have a look. No, it looks like one of the 77Y units is in the same outfit as the KKA. So, although the kill feed may make it look like people are splitting up and going in different places, you really need to pay attention to the outfits.
Yeah, this is obviously in the days before people realised that being able to blend in with your environment was kind of important. But it's a historical thing. It's one of those things.
Yeah, so blending in with the environment doesn't let you wear cool hats like these skirmishers have. Yeah,
I can't argue. They do look rather Australian in their style, don't they?
Yeah, except for the weird sort of
eye
thing on the top. Yeah, it's the Sauron Brigade.
It is something like the Sauron Brigade, yeah. So, but it couldn't be any worse than the Scots Guards who having to wear these strange feathers on top of their bonny hats, the poor buggers.
The Prussian Garde de Fous, or however it's pronounced, are the worst though. They look like they just have enormous cotton buds on their head, the same size as their face.
Yeah, was that the tampon brigade? Where
Yes.
they basically look like he's got a great big huge dildo. Yeah, the thing is I would have thought that, based on the optics that they could have done, what would have been perfect for that? Putting in a periscope so they could just look over the top of the hill through their hat and see what's coming.
The land-based submarine division of the Prussian
Indeed.
army.
Yes. That is the way forward, I believe. That should have been the way that they decided to go, but apparently not. Now, for some reason, the 7TE are making a slow charge with bayonets.
Yes, I'm watching this as well.
Yes, this has the potential to be extremely silly. Let's see what happens. So, obviously, this being the last round, they're essentially a triangle, a big long line of pointy sticks moving towards the enemy, and it's just a matter of waiting to see what happens. I'm suspecting that a cannonball will intercept them at some future unspecified time.
It seems they're trying already, which is impressive considering they can't actually see them yet. It must have been firing at someone else, and they just happened to be in the right vicinity.
Yeah, so, so that you can imagine what it's going to be like for the Austrians standing there looking at a bunch of angry Scotsmen charging towards you with sharpened implements. It's what...
It looks like Scruff's going to be on the receiving end first.
Yes, excellent.
He's
We
just
should be watching
spotted them.
Scruff. Here we go. And Scruff goes in for his first shot. He fires, and Scruff actually killed their colonel. That's officer targeting. Is that allowed?
By the skirmishes, yes. Skirmishes are allowed to officer target in nearly all events. With regard to line infantry targeting officers, that is an event-specific thing, so you'd have to look up the rules.
Okay. And Scruff... Oh, crap. My graphics have just gone again.
You have the magical colour problem.
Yes. Oh, God.
We are on the final round, so at least you're not going to miss too much.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's actually a problem with my hard drive or my card or something. So, very odd. Anyway, over to you, Mal.
Okay, so looks like the charge brigade has been wiped out by this massive sort of infantry zerg. They're now chasing the last guy, who is Chris. No surprise there. That man seems extremely resilient to bullets.
Well, obviously with the melee skills means you have the ability to dodge around the place and get out of the way of danger in general. So whether or not he's got some kind of strange bullet-deflecting bayonet, it's hard to say.
He just met his match in Bradders, who marched out of line single-handedly to defeat him in a duel.
Right, I'm just going to check my computer, so I'll have to leave it with you for a second.
That's fine. Good games are being issued. Some people are less than happy with it, but that's always the case.
Yeah, not sure what's going on with that. It's not like my graphics card is overheating or anything like that, so I'm not sure if that's some kind of bug or what's going on with that. I really hope it's not my graphics card giving out. That would be a tad unfortunate after the run of luck I've had recently.
Yes, it would. Is this your main gaming PC?
This is the main gaming PC, although this is the only game that this happens on.
It may well just be a driver conflict.
Yeah, it could be. We'll have to wait and see. As lots of stabby goodness is going in the centre there. Rifleman being taken down. Charlie the Turtle killing Captain Sharp. As Father Jack forgot to toggle melee.
Yeah, there's nothing quite as good as running up to stab someone and then your character starts reloading as he catches a bayonet in the face. That's always a good time to be going through.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of mistake I'd make.
Nothing says I screwed up like, oh, I'm going to start ramrod reloading. Oh, wait, that's a bayonet.
It's a shame you can't whiplash somebody with a ramrod reloader, but never mind.
Oh, sort of Zorro in their face with the ramrod.
Yeah, exactly. Put a big Z across the front of their face. So we're looking at Chicken, who is living up to his name and running in the opposite direction.
I'm searching for him. No, someone got him before I could find him.
Twilight Sparkle cut him down with a saber slice from the rear.